A friend of Sarah Ferguson has revealed that she's on the cusp of a nervous breakdown as her daughters are being dragged into the scandal over her association with Jeffrey Epstein.
Sarah Ferguson is reportedly falling apart. Once celebrated as the royal family's great comeback story, the former Duchess of York now seems more unsettled than ever, even more than Prince Andrew himself. Sources close to her claim she's drowning in guilt, blaming herself for everything, and quietly considering leaving Britain for good. After years of sharing a home with her disgraced ex-husband, Prince Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, it seems the fairy-tale walls of Royal Lodge are finally closing in. And what's happening behind those gates, insiders say, is pure turmoil. Andrew has already lost his title, his royal privileges, and now, even his longtime residence, the 30-room Royal Lodge, must be given up. For decades, he lived there under what many called a peppercorn rent. But now, the dream is ending. Inside the estate, boxes clutter every hallway. Stacks of unopened Amazon packages sit untouched, a haunting symbol of luxury slowly slipping away. It could take weeks, maybe months, to clear it all out. One source told the Daily Mail that the atmosphere inside feels like the calm after a devastating storm, except this time, Fergie has no idea how to rebuild. She keeps asking herself, what if I hadn't done this? What if I'd made a different choice? The insider revealed. She's taking all the blame. For years, Sarah Ferguson was the queen of reinvention, the scandal-plagued duchess who always managed to rise again, using humor, charm, and a new career twist to win public sympathy. But this time feels different. The reinvention machine has stopped. The familiar headlines, the isolation, the sense of disgrace, it's all come back to haunt her, and this time, she may not have the strength to bounce back.
Of course, this situation has affected Sarah Ferguson. She's been forced to relinquish her titles. I think it's quite unfortunate, that we have to discuss people's mental health in all of this, because it will no doubt take a huge effect.
While Sarah reportedly wanders the halls of Royal Lodge in turmoil, Prince Andrew's reaction has been strikingly different. Several reports claim the disgraced royal has checked out from reality altogether, spending endless hours locked away, playing video games in isolation. Those close to the family describe him as detached and reclusive, hiding behind screens as the world he once ruled continues to crumble. It's a haunting image, the perfect reflection of where the House of York stands today. A fallen prince escaping into fantasy, and a former duchess drowning in her own remorse. Once bound together by scandal, they now seem separated by denial. The breaking point came when the Mail on Sunday exposed a shocking email Sarah had sent to Jeffrey Epstein, a personal note apologizing for publicly cutting ties with him. That one email shattered what little remained of her public credibility. ITV cut her loose. Publishers distanced themselves. Even her children's book, Flora and Fern, originally slated for release on October 9th, was quietly postponed to late November. Waterstones confirmed the delay, while insiders called the move wise, considering the controversy surrounding her name. For a woman who spent years turning redemption into a career, the silence from her business partners now speaks volumes. To truly understand this downfall, you need to look at the pattern. In The Rise and Fall of the House of York, biographer Andrew Loney outlines Fergie's lifelong struggle with extravagance. She once blew £25,000 in just 1 hour at Bloomingdale's, took 9 luxury holidays a year, and employed a small army of staff, from chefs and chauffeurs to nannies, gardeners, and even a personal flower arranger. Her dinners were said to resemble royal feasts, massive spreads of roasts, sides, and desserts, much of which ended up wasted. By the mid-1990s, she was buried under £3.7 million in debt, forced to rely on endorsements and commercial deals to maintain the illusion of a royal who refused to fade away. But now, time and the public's sympathy has finally run out. Friends say the phone no longer rings. Invitations have stopped coming. Even her most loyal allies have gone silent. Her daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, are reportedly urging her to reinvent herself once again. She's surrounded by a new team of PR specialists, determined to rebuild her image as a champion of women's empowerment and motherhood. Yet, insiders aren't convinced. As one bluntly put it, she's always found a way to rise again, but maybe not this time. With her reputation in tatters and her finances uncertain, Sarah Ferguson is said to be quietly planning her escape, perhaps, this time, from Britain itself.
4 years of research, after 4 years of looking into this woman, and who is, to you, Sarah Ferguson?
Well, Sarah Ferguson is a woman of great charm, great ability, a woman who could do a lot of good, has a great empathetic feel for particularly deprived children.
Even the Queen's cherished corgis, Muick and Sandy, have somehow been drawn into the growing speculation. Buckingham Palace has confirmed that once the Royal Lodge is vacated, the beloved dogs will stay within the family. What remains uncertain, however, is where exactly they'll end up with Andrew, Sarah, or perhaps one of their daughters. It's a small detail, yet it speaks volumes, a quiet reflection of the confusion and unravelling of what was once a shining royal household. Behind the tall hedges of Royal Lodge, sources say Sarah Ferguson is coming apart at the seams. Friends describe her moods swinging wildly between anger and despair. One moment she's blaming herself, and the next she's furious at a world she feels has abandoned her. She wanders the halls endlessly, sleepless, barely eating. It's like watching someone fall apart in slow motion, said one insider. For decades, Fergie had built a reputation for bouncing back. Whenever scandal struck, she would smile through the storm, hair perfectly styled, cheeks bright with confidence, always insisting she'd learned and grown stronger. It became her calling card, the Duchess who could survive anything. But this time, that unbreakable optimism has vanished. Those who've spoken to her say she's tormented by what she's lost, revealed a former aide. She replays her life over and over, the marriage, the divorce, the infamous photos, the Oprah interviews, the failed ventures. She's convinced that if she'd just handled one thing differently, none of this would be happening. Close family sources say her daughters are quietly keeping watch, deeply worried, encouraging her to get help. They've never seen her like this, said one. She's terrified of humiliation, of financial collapse, of reaching the end of her luck. What makes this breakdown even more startling is how visible it's become. The woman who once thrived on media attention is now suffocating under its weight. Every photo, every article, every leaked comment cuts her a little deeper. She can't turn it off, one friend shared. She reads everything, the headlines, the comments, even the jokes. It's destroying her. Her recent efforts to take control have only made things worse. The new PR team brought in to reshape her image as a voice for female empowerment is reportedly struggling. As one consultant put it bluntly, how do you promote empowerment when the public sees dependence, extravagance, and denial? There's talk of another tell-all memoir, one last attempt to reclaim her story. But even that seems unlikely now. No major publisher wants to take the risk, said a senior editor. The fear of fresh scandals is just too great. She's become an insurable. Meanwhile, Andrew spends his days secluded, absorbed in video games, while Sarah drifts through the empty rooms, phone in hand, waiting for calls that never come. The Royal Lodge, once their symbol of defiance, now feels like a monument to two people unable to move on. A longtime friend painted a haunting picture. It's not just the unopened boxes, it's the atmosphere. You can feel the panic. She knows everything's collapsing, and there's nowhere left to hide. The few loyal staff who remain walk on eggshells, never sure when her next emotional storm will break. The pressure from eviction, financial trouble, and public disgrace has brought her to the edge. She's fragile, said one insider. That strong exterior is gone. She's genuinely afraid of what comes next. For the first time in decades, Sarah Ferguson has no roadmap, no business deals, no brand partnerships, no guaranteed home. The network that once shielded her has vanished. She's realizing how few true friends she really has, said another source. People loved her title. Without it, she's alone. Royal commentators are calling this the final chapter, the moment Sarah Ferguson must either rebuild herself honestly or fade from the public eye altogether. But the question is, does she still have the strength to do either? Because beyond the headlines and hollow press statements lies something deeply human, a woman confronting the wreckage of her own legend. The Duchess who once symbolized survival now faces the one scandal she can't escape, herself. And as movers begin to empty Royal Lodge, box by box, the saga of Sarah Ferguson, her rise, her reinventions, her relentless need for relevance ends not with applause, but with silence. Now, the once inseparable pair who proudly called themselves the world's happiest divorced couple sit on opposite sides of the same downfall. The Duchess who once lived for the spotlight now hides from it. And as she quietly prepares to leave the UK, one question lingers: is Sarah Ferguson escaping the chaos, or simply running from herself? Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss the latest royal updates.